Hello everyone and welcome to another top 10 list. This time it's actually 6 top 10 lists. This is a top 10 fall compilation of YouTube reviewers for last year. So essentially what I wanted to go ahead and do is, I know we all give our perspectives. A lot of reviewers give their perspectives on what they think is the top fragrances for fall. And what I went ahead and did was I went ahead and compiled a list. There was close to 30 actually of reviewers who went ahead and did their own top 10 list. So what I went ahead and did was I compiled all of it together, took averages, took the median score, the most or the mode score as well for a lot of these fragrances, compiled it together and decided to present it to you in 6 different top 10 lists. Each of them kind of related to one another. So one grouping of 3, I decided to give you a pure average basically. The criteria was that the fragrance had to be mentioned at least 3 different times, and it would actually get onto the list and it would be put into that average. And the second criteria was simply the most of the fragrances. So I'm going to actually start with most of the fragrances. In other words, how many times a fragrance was mentioned by reviewers. And it's simply a countage up and down of that. So without any further ado, again, this is not my list. This is a compilation of all YouTube reviewers and what their choices were for fall of last year. All right? So with that, hopefully you can get a better idea of what you should go out and spend your money on, what people truly like, and eventually draw your own conclusions of it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start this off. To start it off, I want to start with the most frequently mentioned fragrances for designer. All right? Coming in at number 10, we have Midnight in Paris. Coming in at number 9, we have Bulgari Black. Coming in at number 8, we have Fahrenheit. Coming in at number 7, we have L'Instant de Guerlain Extreme. Coming in at number 6, we have Gucci Pour Homme 2. Coming in at number 5, we have Dior Homme. Coming in at number 4, we have Pure Havane. Coming in at number 3, we have Dior Homme Intense. Coming in at number 2, we have Pure Malt. And the most frequently mentioned fragrance for the designer side, none other than La Nuit de l'Homme by Yves Saint Laurent, coming in as the number 1 most mentioned fragrance by all reviewers, designer fragrance. Now let's start off with the niche side. On the niche side, coming in number 10, we have Poivre 23. Coming in at number 9, we have Tea for 2. Coming in at number 8, Fumerie Turque by Serge Lutens. Coming in at number 7, we have Musc Ravageur by Frédéric Malle. Coming in number 6, we have Spiritueux Double Vanille by Guerlain. Coming in at number 5, we have Chergui. Coming in at number 4, we have L'air du désert Marocain by Andy Tower. Coming in at number 3, we have Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille. Coming in number 2, we have Hermès Ambre Narguilé. And the most frequently mentioned niche fragrance that mentioned on people's lists, number 1, Bond Number 9's New Harlem. So those are the 2 lists. Now, combined for an overall, I want to combine both the niche and both the designer fragrances to give you a master list of fragrances that were mostly mentioned. And let's start it off. Coming in at number 10 for the overall mentioned fragrance, L'air du désert Marocain. Coming in at number 9, Gucci Pour Homme 2. Coming in number 8, Dior Homme. Coming in at number 7, Tobacco Vanille. Coming in at number 6, Ambre Narguilé by the Hermès line. Coming in at number 5, Pure Havane. Coming in at number 4, Dior Homme Intense. Coming in at number 3, Bond Number 9's New Harlem. Coming in at number 2, Thierry Mugret's Pure Malt. And the number 1 most mentioned fragrances out of all fragrances amongst YouTube reviewers is none other than Yves Saint Laurent's La Nuit de l'Homme. So if you're looking for a fragrance that was just mentioned, just sheerly out of number, those were the list of fragrances that you want to look at and target. Now, if that isn't your thing, kind of going on, I wanted to actually present a list of averages as well. And again, the criteria to make it was it had to be mentioned at least 3 different times. There were many fragrances that were mentioned once, maybe some a little twice, but you really started narrowing that there were still a lot of fragrances that made at least 3 mentions. And we're going to go ahead and start this off with the designer side. So this is an average again. So what I basically took, if it came in, say, if somebody mentioned it their first time, somebody mentioned it in the number 1 spot, another person mentioned the number 5 spot, another person mentioned it in the number 10 spot, I would simply take those, average it out, and that's pretty much what got the average score. So, right, the person with the fragrances with the lowest score is quote unquote the highest average. Yes, you should figure it out by then. All right, so let's start off with the designer side. Coming in at number 10, we have Le Male. Coming in at number 9, we have Angel Men, the original. Coming in at number 8, we have Allure Homme by Chanel. Coming in at number 7, we have Terre de Hermes. Coming in at number 6, we have Dior Homme Intense. Coming in at number 5, we have L'Instant de Galant Extreme. Coming in at number 4, Midnight in Paris. Coming in at number 3, Pure Malt. Coming in at number 2, Encre Noire by Lalique. And coming in at number 1, Pure Havane. Moving on to the niche side. Coming in at number 10 for averages, Tobacco Vanille. Coming in at number 9, Vetiver Tonka. Coming in at number 8, Kilian's Back to Black. Coming in at number 7, Guerlain's Spiratu Double Vanille. Coming in at number 6, Bond number 9's New Harlem. Coming in at number 5, Bond number 9's Silver Factory. Coming in at number 4, Serge Lutens Cher Guy. Coming in at number 3, L'air du désert des Marocains by Andy Tower. Coming in at number 2, we have Creed's Original Santal. And coming in as the number 1 niche fragrance that got the highest averages, Poivre 23 by Le Labo. So moving on to the overall list combined, let's get on to it. Coming in at number 10, we have Kilian's Back to Black. Coming in at number 9, we have Encre Noire by Lalique. Coming in at number 8, we have Spiratu Double Vanille by Guerlain. Coming in at number 7, we have Pure Havane. Coming in at number 6, we have Bond number 9's New Harlem. Coming in at number 5, Bond number 9's Silver Factory. Coming in at number 4, we have Serge Lutens Cher Guy. Coming in at number 3, we have L'air du désert des Marocains by Andy Tower. Coming in at number 2, Creed's Original Santal. And the number 1 most average rated fragrance is Poivre 23 by Le Labo. So as you can see from the combined list, it's heavily niche dominated in terms of average weight. But when you compare that to the overall fragrance list, where people mention more, it's dominated by designer. And pretty much that makes perfect sense. If you're going to, there's more people who have designer fragrances as opposed to niche fragrances. And niche fragrances, when they do appear, they generally tend to get higher ratings than the designer fragrances. Another thing to note that you may want to take a look at is even though you have those fragrances that don't necessarily make the most mentioned list, you have fragrances that still made a higher average, which probably means that many people just don't have the fragrance and don't have a chance to actually test it out. So that could be one indication. Poivre 23 is a prime example. It didn't strike the top of the list for the most mentioned fragrance, but every time it was mentioned, it always got just fantastic scores. And actually, it blew every other fragrance out of the water in terms of its average score. Every time it was mentioned, it was either mentioned in the number 1 spot or the number 2 spot, which is just outstanding. So there are a couple of those things to actually keep in mind for it. So if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to leave a comment down below. This is going to be a seasonal thing that I'm going to go ahead and do. So thank you, take care of yourselves, and have a great day.